Radio. Creator and presenter, Kate Jones. Music, video, produced by Jonathan, the producer.
Hello, this is At Home Radio, a welcoming space for conversations about life, meaning, and exuberance. I'm Kate Jones, and today's conversation is with Carolyn Molnar and Ben Gleisser, talking about their recent collaboration. What? You're a medium? Welcome, Carolyn and Ben. Ben, do you ever miss Cleveland?
I have to say it's hard for me to get into the Toronto Blue Jays. I've still got my heart with the Cleveland team. I don't know what they're being called now, but it's like, I have to say I've started watching the Browns again after kind of having an upset stomach for about 6 years now. And the Cavs got to get there. But, I lived in the west end of Lakewood, and I missed going to, for a while there, I missed going down because we lived near the Rocky River, the marina. And I'd go down there, and the bike pass was wonderful. And so we lived in Toronto for a while in a very, almost like 1960s type housing development. It was a very sterile, kind of boring. And then we moved out more, and so now we're closer to the lake. It reminds me of Lake Ontario. It reminds me of Lakewood. So I tootle around my bicycle. I was just out this afternoon bicycling around, and it's wonderful. It's more, a little more space out here. And yeah, so I'm getting used to it now.
Yes, that's great. And it's such I have not been to Toronto, but I just heard nothing but great things about it.
It's a very big, clean city, I have to say. Yeah, that's what it's known for, is being clean.
And I'm not a hockey fan, so, I don't fit in that way yet.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you'll develop that.
Yeah.
No, he can't see the puck. Uh-huh. It moves too fast. He says, what are people looking at? I said, it's a puck. Where?
I get on the ice and I fall down. The only ice I want is in my drinks.
Okay. Noted. Duly noted. All right. Well, Carolyn, you teach classes on mediumship and psychic development, and you also give workshops across Canada, United States, when in-person workshops work. Mm-hmm. The Toronto area North York Mirror newspaper voted you favorite psychic 2 years in a row. So you've developed quite a name for yourself.
I have, hopefully a good one. Yeah. But I have 2 psychic development classes running now. They're full. And I have a mediumship class that is absolutely full because my mediums don't want to leave me. Some of them have been with me for 8 years, and it's now more like a family. So it's their opportunity to, in a comfortable situation, give messages, learn about them, get the theory down, and just feel comfortable with doing the work. So yeah, I'm very busy, and there's only one of me, and I wish I could help and teach more, but I'm at my max.
Yeah. Wow. Well, you're doing good work there.
Thank you.
So I really like what you say in the book about how your job as a psychic medium is to provide hope. Mm-hmm. And I was wondering if you would mind reading that passage from page 25.
Sure, thank you. I'll just find it here. All right. My job is to provide hope. There's a reason why people who do the work I do are called light workers, because we bring illumination to those undergoing a dark night of the soul. People seek us out because they are grieving, and many times they are trying to understand the emotional, intellectual, or spiritual pain that has been dealt them. So we seek to comfort the hopeless and encourage the discouraged. Our clients want to be reassured that their loved ones in spirit are not in pain, and that love continues past the transition that we call death. No matter how precarious a client's situation is, I always strive to find hope and meaning in their suffering.
That is so beautiful.
Ben's a great writer, but that is truth. That he conveys it very well.
Yes. Not all mediums feel that way, though, do they?
No. Mm-mm. No, I find every time I do my work, I have to prove myself because there's so much out there that they're scammers and they're there to take advantage of people who are in a really delicate place, and it just drives me crazy. I have had people call me. It's not necessarily just mediumship, psychic work as well, where they are told that there was actually this one gal, she emailed me. She said, I read your blog on psychic scams. And she said, I think I was scammed. And then proceeded to tell me the story that she was a single parent in school with a baby. And she went to see a psychic who said that her money was dirty and needed to be cleaned. And that if she could hand over $2,000, she would take the unclean energy off it and give it back to her. Well, she never saw the money again. And this psychic then disconnected her phone number, so she could never get back to her.
That's just so horrible.
And you know what happens to the lawyers? There was a gentleman who was duped out of 6 figures. He even a car as well. By a psychic who was talking about, how he could make his work go better and, remove curses and all this stuff. It was just horrendous. It was in the newspaper. Mm-hmm. And thank goodness the lawyer had enough, self-esteem to call it in, because that's a problem. A lot of people feel embarrassed by this, that they've been duped, so they don't call it in. They don't, because this is fraud. And It's got to be stopped. But it's the people that have it happen to are the ones that need to do it, to call it in.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give people who are interested in connecting with someone from the spirit world? What advice would you give them about avoiding psychic scammers?
First of all, I would see if there's somebody that that has visited a psychic or a medium and they've got a good vibe from them. I would also tell you that if you sign up for a reading and then you get there and the psychic or the medium wants to ask for more money or get a candle, for $200, it's a psychic, it's a scam. You should not be paying any more for your reading than what you initially paid for. I'm always worried about those $25 readings, because that's what can happen is that they say, honey, you're cursed. Mm-hmm. For $500, I can remove that curse. I actually have a list of the things you should watch for in my book on page 190. Do you want me to go through them?
Oh, sure, if you'd like to.
So here are the warnings. As I've said, the psychic says you're cursed and only they can remove the curse. The psychics say your loved one is in pain and only they can heal that pain. The psychics want a ridiculous amount of money for a session. The psychics say you need more sessions to clear up your problem. The psychics say you must buy their mystical trinkets, like those candles I just referred to. The psychics tell you not to share their information with anyone. And the psychics tell you that you have no power. Yeah.
That's so wrong.
It's so wrong. Yes. It's evil. Mm-hmm. These people are looking for help. You don't do this.
That's right. Oh. Well, that's all great advice. And do you and Ben have a couple of stories you'd like to sort of wrap this interview up with, from your times of being psychic mediums?
Well, I'll tell you about when my father passed. And I was helping my mother, and my other brothers and sister was there too. And in the corner of my eye, I saw my father walking down the hallway, going into their room. And I didn't want to say anything to my mother, who was really shaken up at the time, and my brothers and sister. And so a year later, I was at Lilydale, and someone had a spirit board A spirit board is like a Ouija board. However, it's someone that you make yourself. It's not something you buy at like a Woolworths or something like that. Where she took some wood, cut a nice big swath of it, and then herself, she burnished the letters in it. So you're putting your own energy into it. So we were using it one time, and I said, "Is my father there?" And the planchette went to yes. And I said, "Okay, was that really you that I saw at the house?" And it spelled out, "Yes, I was confused," because he had just passed. And then he proceeded to give some other like little things about, do you have a message for my brother, a message for my sister? And he said some things there. And it's stuff like that that says, it's like too much has happened in my life that and it's the curse of being a skeptic, right? You can never really say I have the answer because something else comes to you. And so it's like things I can't explain. And because you can't explain them, you have to say, there's stuff out there, it's really there. You've got to keep your eyes open. It's like walking in the street. And during the lockdown, when you start looking around at people's houses and their flowers, and you just notice things, you say, my God, I walk by these things all the time and I didn't notice them, and now I do. And that's the way you have to keep, open now. Just see things and say, wow, these things are happening. They're out there.
Yes, that's great.
I am at a loss as to what kind of story I can give. I have too many to choose from. Can you think of anything off the top?
Tell the story about Vic, his father.
Oh, okay. So I was at Lilydale and I was giving readings. And I find when I worked at Lilydale, the energy was so much stronger for me. I was so much clearer. And I met this gentleman who came in, and I just felt such sadness. And it turns out that his partner had completed suicide. I say complete, not commit, because it's not a crime. So it's completed suicide. And the fellow's partner was, had a lot of depression around him and stuff. And he came in to say, he's doing so much better, and, he's being taken care of and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden it shifted. And his father came in, and Vic said, no. And the father was insistent. So I said, let me just see what he's got for you. And it came in that he came to apologize to his son because he didn't agree with his lifestyle. And when he got into the spirit world, the father, he realized what's important and what's not. So that was such a healing experience for my client, whose name is his real name is not Vic, but I will use that name. And that was a real aha moment for me, that there's a chance for reconciliation. It doesn't mean that you have to be on the same plane.
Right.
Yeah, he had problems. The father had problems accepting his son's, homosexuality.
Sure.
But now in the spirit world, it's like, when you understand, it's like, it's just something, it's like choices we make in our life.
Yeah, and it's about goodness, and it's about, selflessness, and how are you helping others rather than anything else, That doesn't matter in the spirit world, your sexuality.
And I, in your book, you do say that death is not the final act.
No, it's not.
And that's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's a new chapter,
And an encore.
And an encore.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I really would like to ask people to be very, very careful when they're out there looking for a psychic medium. Understand that not all psychics are mediums, and not all mediums are psychic. Psychics are those who work with the here and now, your love life, your finances. Am I going to get a new job? That kind of thing. Whereas mediumship is solely speaking to those who cross to the spirit world. So choose according to your needs, and also see if you can get a reference before you, try somebody, just so that there's a better chance that it's going to turn out well for you.
Yes. Great advice.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Carolyn and Ben. It's been a pleasure talking with you. Carolyn's books, including What, You're a Medium, and her meditations to CDs, which are great. I have listened to several and they're wonderful, are available at carolynmolnar.com. And tell me if this is still true. You can be followed on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And YouTube.
And
Yes.
YouTube. Well, yes, and YouTube. You're
Yes.
definitely on YouTube. So thank you again. This is wonderful. Has been wonderful talking with you.
Thank you.
This is Kate Jones with At Home Radio. Until next time, thanks for joining us.